And today I'm going to talk about what I bring to the table to help people look at things a little bit differently. And the work that I do in bioenergetic wellness is what allows me the opportunity to think differently. And I've so enjoyed all the studying that I have done in this field, and also the skills that I've been able to share with people. I do that one-on-one in sessions, but I do that also in classes and workshops. And with COVID, I've been able to do a lot more of that online, reaching out to people around the world. And that's been really, really cool. So what I want to share with you today is a couple of tools for how you can change how you do things. So people would say in the dance studio, often they would say I'm like the vacuum cleaner, and I would just suck people into projects. And that's usually because I knew what my goal was, I knew what my outcome was going to be, and then I energetically shifted the flow of the activity so that whomever had skills that I needed would just come in and be a part of that whole process. And so that's that little sucking you in part. Also, I'm in a dance studio. I have a lot of adults that have always wanted to dance, and with their kids coming in to be dancers, sometimes it was like living their dream to be able to come in and dance with them. And when we had 3 generations dancing on the stage together, and my parents were involved, and my sister, my brother-in-law, I mean, it was wonderful to be able to share that as a family. And so I think that's also part of how things get sucked in. And my family will say that for sure. Okay, so let's do a couple of tips that will help you to move forward in a new way, thinking differently. And if you really like some of this stuff, check out the bioenergetic wellness workshops on Can Be Well. Check out what I've got happening on my pages, and check out the Key to Health and Dance Debuts website. And as more programs get shared, you might find something that really inspires you to think differently and to do things differently. And that's where we find joy, that's where we reduce the stress in our life, and that's where flow happens, so everything can feel really good while we're doing it. Okay, so I'm going to back up and get off my chair here. And what I'm going to share with you is a little tapping technique, and I should have stayed on my chair for this. You're going to tap into the pinky finger here, and it's like the karate chop point is what they say. And it's a little mantra that you say. So despite maybe, despite not being able to participate in something, you could fill that in, I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself. Or despite not being able to complete all the tasks I had hoped, I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself. And you just keep tapping into that little place. Now, as you say the phrases, what will happen sometimes is you'll stumble over the words, and you're like, how could I stumble on that? It was so simple. That tells you that you energetically weren't flowing with it. And so you start and you say, despite, and then I deeply, and you can't remember the rest. That's an indication it's got to flip. And you keep tapping. So despite not being able to finish the project that I was working on, I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself. And when it rattles off nice and even, you know that the body's shift. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some tap dancing, because you have all these fantastic reflexes on the bottom of your feet, and you also have this ability to know how you feel by how your feet feel. So I want you to just tap your toes. And I put my jazz shoes on, so I didn't want to be too loud with my tap shoes because they can be quite tinny in here. So I hope you're just going to hear my feet. And of course, I would pick a piece of music that I absolutely adore, and then I would just be grooving with the music at the same time. And all I'm doing is tapping my toe, and you'll notice my knees are keeping a rhythm at the same time. Right, okay, excuse me. And then I'm going to move to the heel drop, which is just dropping it down, which some people will do on the spot when they're listening to the music, just getting ready to move. Okay, now I have a pattern that goes with this, because this is going to change all the directions that you're working in. So I'm going to go out and in, and I can alternate feet. So this warm-up that people will do in tap dancing actually completely resets the body for energy flow. It's amazing. all of the reflexes in the body for gravity, centering, grounding, stability, all of that comes out of your feet. And tap dancing is the best way to get there. Okay, so I've got that one. So now I'm going to do my heel. And I'm keeping my beat the whole time. So just nice and even. And whatever song I put on, I can dance to. I can make my hands do whatever they want. I can snap my fingers, clap my hands, sing along, whatever it is. Okay, so that gives you sideways direction. We have out and in at the same time, but in opposition. So this is changing what's happening up in your brain. Gives you a little bit more. And then your heels. Now, for those people that have followed me with Tai Chi, there's a seated form of this, which is in the Tai Chi videos you'll find on my YouTube channel. Okay, under Tai Chi Wellness. Okay, now the part that always gets me is if I'm not flowing to make that change, this one I'll stumble over this. This one is a toe drop and a heel drop. I call it rock and roll because you go forward and backward. Now you go forward and backward on one foot, forward and back on the other foot. And it rocks back and forth. Toe and heel. It seems very simple, except if you're trying to change a pattern. And as I'm talking, I've already lost it. Okay, so as I stumbled onto the words, I lost it with my feet. And that tells me I don't have the flow. Okay, now, once I get that going, then I reverse it. So instead of starting with the toe being down on the 1, there's a bit of 1, 2. Now it's going to be the heel. 1, 2. Heel, toe. Which doesn't seem like much, except when you're with the music. Your body might not want to do that. There's my stumble. Okay, so we have that. Now the other piece that you can do is traveling in directions. And I do that as a toe heel, which would be forward. And then I can go backward. And again, it seems really simple, but there's just so much going on for the body. Then you have the heel toe, the candy smasher that I did the other day. Now to go back, you can't do a candy smasher. So it's usually a toe dig and a heel drop. And you can go sideways. And then you can change directions. You can turn. All of that, while you're thinking about your goal or your vision and your outcome, can actually transform you so your body flows into that. The people that you need, they'll come and they'll find you. The things that you need to get done, the other stuff will fall away and you'll just be focused into your goal. So, if you're thinking about how do things happen differently, that's my job. What I bring to the table is a new way of you looking at life and looking at what's possible for you and how you can make a change. Okay, thanks for being here. Have a wonderful weekend. And I'm still doing my 30-day challenge all the way through the weekend. So I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.